It's the Channel Mom Show with Jenny Dean Schmidt. We're here for you.
Brought to you by the Healthy Marriage Project. Just click on one of their ads to find out about a healthy relationship workshop near you. Alrighty. Let's talk about sex. If you want to get your 3 to 10-year-olds out of the room, feel free. We're not going to talk about it, though, in a way that is at all R-rated. We're not going to talk about it in the same old, salacious, tired way. How hot is that cheerleader? Which movie star would you like to get in bed with? Or who do you have a man crush on? I hate that question. What a dumb question. No, we are not going to do the typical immature afternoon DJ kind of talking. Instead, we're going to talk about this very hot topic in a way that can literally change your child's life and maybe even your life. You know, here's what I think. I think that people can tune into me and say, okay, she's going to be traditional. She's going to lecture me. She's going to be a fuddy-duddy and tell me that my kids shouldn't have sex till they get married. That's unrealistic. She's going to say they can't live together, so on and so forth. I just do what I do. I turn the other way, or I put my child on birth control, or whatever it is that I do. It's all going to work out. I did it. They can do it. I completely disagree. And I think that there is a way to address this that's going to benefit your children. If you really love your child, you do not want them to get pregnant at 16 before they're married. If you really love your child, you do not want them to get an STD, et cetera, et cetera, et ccetera. I'm so happy that we have Tammy Borges here for the center, from the Center for Relationship Education. They are actually a sponsor of Channel Mom, but Tammy is an expert on these things. She's done a ton of research. She's even done research on how different people from different political parties regard this topic, on how you teach your kids about sex and sexual relations. Welcome to the Channel Mom Show, Tammy.
Well, thank you very much, Jenny. I love being here with you.
Thank you.
Good show. I think we need to answer the question first. Who does have the best sex?
Yes.
Who does?
You know.
I do know, and I
have a guess.
I want our listeners to think, oh my gosh, if Tammy's coming into the classroom, she's not going to really teach my kid how to have the best sex. But we do ask kids that, and they think, oh, the young and the beautiful, the unmarried, the living together. Yeah. And there was actually a large survey done out of the University of Chicago, and who is having the best sex are married couples.
Yeah.
And we get kids to start thinking about that. Why would the best sex be in marriage? And they all go, oh, yuck, I don't want to think about that with my parents.
Yeah.
But we do talk about it with them. And why would people that are married have the best sex? Because they're safe? Yeah. Because they're committed? Because they know each other? Because they love each other?
Yeah.
Because they're going to wake up and the person's going to be there the next day and the next day and the next day. And kids' mouths kind of fall open. So it's really
they can't believe it?
They cannot believe it, because think about media. On TV, it doesn't show the best sexes in marriage.
No.
I don't even know if they show marriage very much on TV anymore. They show modern families, and I'm not putting down any modern families, but they show a lot of modern families, and they don't show the traditional marriage in our media, movies, TV as much.
No, and you know what? If you're listening, feel free to call us if you want to be a hater. If you want to be somebody who doesn't agree with that, that's fine. 303-297-1510. But I imagine there are a lot of people driving down the freeway right now thinking that we've got it wrong, or that we don't get it, or that we're old-fashioned, or that we are judgers, or that we're judgmental, kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the research is out there that your child is going to be better off if they save themselves for marriage, if they talk about it with their parents.
Well, let's go all back to the reason why would you not want your child to have sex, or why would you care if your child does have sex? We were just talking. I think my eyes went way big. You said Tammy's eyes are big. It's because we're speaking the same language. What's important to me is not if some 15, 16-year-old has sex or not. What's important to me is that they can create a healthy, strong family someday.
Yeah.
That's the whole bottom line.
Yeah.
And so what are the behaviors we want our kids involved in, and how do we want to act as parents so our kids can develop a healthy, strong family someday? Yeah. And we have these generational, healthy, strong families instead of the disintegrating families that we have right now in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, the fastest way to get into poverty is have a baby without a husband. That's the number one way. If I was living borderline poverty right now, I'd be telling my girls that every day. Don't have a baby. Don't have a baby. You need to finish school, get married, and then have a baby.
Yeah. And by the way, I want to say this. I do not think babies are bad. And if a 16-year-old comes to me and tells me she's pregnant, I say, go ahead and have it. I don't choose poverty.
Oh.
I mean, what I'm saying is I don't choose poverty over the baby or lack of poverty over the baby. Does that make sense?
Oh,
I think the baby's more
absolutely.
important. But
Absolutely. They need a good, strong network. I'm not saying that either. I'm
Yeah.
just saying there's nothing wrong with, like,
yeah,
waiting to have sex.
I know. And it's so unpopular. And this is the thing. This is like the big elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. But meanwhile, kids' STD rate is going way up. What is it?
Right.
One in how many teenage girls have STDs now?
1 in 4.
1 in 4 teenage
Right.
girls have STDs.
Right.
And we're having this teen pregnancy and this higher rate of poverty among single moms and all of these things that no one wants to be willing to talk about it because then we look like we're politically incorrect,
Right.
like we're judging people.
We look like we don't care about people.
Yeah.
And I so deeply care about people just like you do.
Yeah.
I so deeply care about our teens. And the good news is, this is the good news, there's so many teens that are waiting. There are a lot of teens that are waiting.
Yeah.
But we just hear about the other group. And I don't know why it has to be so dominant that we need to think that so many of our teens are having sex. Guess what? A lot of our teens are not. They're waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And then we haven't really told them what to wait for, because a lot of our 20 to 29-year-olds then are having sex and having babies without being married.
I know.
So
The rate of marriage has gone down at a greater rate than ever before in our nation's history. Fewer people are married.
Right.
You know?
And then the rate of poverty has gone up.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? But again, I think, and one reason I did the commentary I did this morning is I think really people don't want to talk about this because trying to put families back together is too complicated. It's easier to say, let's talk about gun control, let's talk about mental illness. It's easier to address some of those things politically than to actually get down to the nitty gritty and work on family.
And it's easier to be a classroom teacher and be trained or invite guest speakers in that say, let me teach you how to have safe sex.
Yeah.
The problem is sex when you're 15, 16, 17, 18, it's not safe.
No.
Because you can protect some of your physical parts, but you can't protect your heart. You can't protect your reputation.
Yeah.
You can't protect your intellect. If you're worrying about if you're pregnant or if he's going to break up with you, are you studying for math?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't protect everything.
No. You guys do such good work at the center. It's the center for relationship education, right? Not
Correct.
center of. I'm going to throw some statistics out at you that might be surprising to our audience. First of all, and I found this very fascinating because a lot of people, I think, and by the way, this is what I want to say. I believe that there are probably parents, probably guys in trucks running down the freeway right now thinking, there is no way I'm going to stop my 16-year-old boy from having sex. You guys are full of it. There's just no way to do this. Right. I would disagree because statistics suggest otherwise, that if parents are willing to spend time communicating with those boys, they're less likely to do so. But 71% of boys say they are confused about whether or not girls want them to initiate sex. So it's not automatic for them in their brains. They kind of are feeling like, maybe I'm supposed to be doing this. You know what I mean?
Right. I agree with that. It's not automatic in the boy's brain at all. In fact, they would like some encouragement.
Yeah.
I think the guys would like some encouragement. Here's how to be around a girl. They don't really know. They think it's about sex.
Yeah, absolutely. And statistics also show, I'm reading from The Guardians of Purity by Julie I can never say her name, but I think it's Hiramini. Lower rates of adolescent sexual activity are associated with parents who've got traditional attitudes towards sexual behavior and effective communication practices. And also moms who talk to their kids. Those kids are less likely to have sexual relationships. So really, I think a parent who thinks today, there's no way I'm going to be able to help my daughter or son not have sex before they're 22 or whatever, when they get married. They think there's just no way. The culture is full of too much pressure. It's just too much the norm now. But the fact is that if you're just willing to talk to your child, if you really don't want them to, if you really don't want them to get an STD or get pregnant, they will listen to you.
Right. Parents are still the number one influence of our teenagers. That's good news?
Yeah, that's great news. So tell me what happens. Tell me what happens when a parent decides to sit down and talk to a child. What's the likelihood now that they will have sex after that?
Well, I couldn't tell you the exact statistic right off the top of my head, but as you just stated, there's more increased behavior of kids listening to their parents and avoiding a lot of risky behaviors. We're not just talking about sex. We're talking about all kinds of cluster risky behaviors, pornography, video games that you and I were discussing off air. There's a whole group. So a lot of parents say, how do I have the talk? And it's like, can I just correct you with one thing? How can you have the lifetime conversation with your kid? I have a 24-year-old. Do you think I'm done talking?
No, I hope not.
I'm not done talking. I'm not ever going to be done talking. You have a different talking role, of course, as they get older and they get married. but I'm not done talking. So that's our job around our kids. But we start with a lifetime talk about it. So you've been talking about it since they were younger. And for the parents that haven't, it's going to be a little bit harder. I'd arm with books and research and then just the heart, like talking about the heart. When kids climb in the car and you're both staring ahead, you can say, how was your day? And what is going on? And I heard sometimes at school there's these parties and this might be happening. Have you ever heard that? You don't look at your kid and said, what experiences do you have? And let me tell you that they're wrong.
Or just no. Yeah. Don't do anything. No.
Yeah, you get into their world. You ask them all the questions so you know what they're battling. And then you can be more empathetic if they are receiving pressure for different things.
Okay. 2 minutes before the break. And again, if you want to call us, Tammy's going to be back in the next segment too, 303-297-1510. If you have questions about how you can actually talk to your kids about this issue, and if there really is such a thing as abstinence in this day and age, or if that's just, ridiculous to think that that's possible. In the last 2 minutes, as I said, can you talk about why parents avoid talking to their kids about this issue?
I think a number one reason why parents avoid, there's two reasons. They don't know how. They feel scared. They feel like they want to be their kids' friends. So many parents today want to be a friend, not a parent. I don't know where that role in society got so mixed up. And then the other one is, I didn't wait. I didn't behave well. And look, I'm doing okay. And so it's going to turn out for them.
Oh,
but
that's
generally,
big.
when we talk to a parent and they come to some of our trainings, they go, darn, where were you when I was 16? Every time we train, where were you when I was 16? I'm looking at a 50-year-old.
And so they do have regrets. They say it's all turned out, but they have regrets.
They do have regrets. Yeah, most of them have regrets. Most parents have regrets with, I wish I would have known this. I could have made better decisions. I mean, think about the divorce rate, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
Maybe in some communities it's more like 30%, but it's still a high percentage.
And do you think that's related partly to our cavalier attitude about sex before marriage?
Wrapped up into family, lack of knowledge of family and stability. And we can't just pinpoint one single thing, but it's there. Yes.
We just need to be intentional. And I'm going to stop apologizing. I really am, because I believe so strongly in the things I'm talking about this morning. And in this regard, I am truly a conservative. I believe that family matters and that we need to work on it and we need to be intentional about it and that we need to take sex seriously as something that needs to be planned for and goes with marriage. And I don't care what people think of me if I think that. I don't care, because I know it's right and the research backs me up. So stay tuned.